Look at the map of North Africa today. It is a vast, golden silence, a place where the sun rules without mercy. It is the largest hot desert on Earth, a landscape so hostile, it seems like it has been dead for millions of years. Temperatures here can soar above 50 degrees Celsius. Water is a myth. Life is a struggle against the odds. We look at this endless sand and assume this is how it has always been. Unchanging, eternal, empty. But the sand is a liar. Beneath these dunes lie secrets that rewrite the history of human civilization. Rewind the clock. Not by millions of years, but just 10,000. A blink of an eye in geological time, the Earth tilts. The monsoon rains shift north, and the yellow silence begins to wake up. Welcome to the African humid period. Welcome to the Green Sahara. Where there is now dust, there was once a network of thundering rivers connecting the continent in a web of life. In the heart of the desert stood Lake Mega Chad. It was not just a lake, it was an inland sea. Larger than all the Great Lakes of North America combined, it covered over 400,000 square kilometers. This wasn't a barren oasis. It was a lush savanna, dotted with acacia trees and thick vegetation. Pollen samples from beneath the ocean floor confirm it. The Sahara was covered in tropical vegetation. Imagine the current location of the Sphinx, but surrounded by tall papyrus reeds and marshlands. Rainfall was abundant. The monsoon belt had moved 600 kilometers northward, soaking the thirsty earth. This water created a corridor, a green highway for animals to migrate from the south. If you walked the Sahara then, you wouldn't see camels. You would see elephants. Hippos wallowed in deep waters where today there is only bone-dry rock. Crocodiles, 6 meters long, hunted in the swamps of what is now the Tenere Desert. Herds of gazelle, giraffe, and antelope numbered in the millions, grazing on endless grass. Lions stalked the tall grass. The predator-prey cycle thrived in a land we call the empty quarter. We know this because they left their bones. Fossils of fish and crocodiles are found in the middle of the dunes. But the animals were not alone. Humans were here. And they were thriving. These were the fishing cultures of the Sahara, a civilization built on water, not sand. Archaeologists call them the Kithians. They were tall, robust hunters who lived on the shores of the megalakes. They didn't farm. They fished. They hunted with harpoons carved from bone. They left behind massive middens, piles of refuse, packed with the bones of fish and hippos. Later came the Tenerians, smaller, herding cattle, bringing the first signs of pastoral life. They created pottery. They decorated their bodies. They had a complex society lost to time. Gobero, in Niger, is the largest graveyard of these people. 2 cultures, separated by 1,000 years, buried together. One grave is famous, the Stone Age embrace, a woman and 2 children, holding hands for eternity. They laid their dead on beds of flowers. Pollen analysis proves they were buried with love and ritual. But their greatest legacy isn't their bones, it is their art. Deep in the Gilf Kabir Plateau lies the Cave of Swimmers, paintings that baffled early explorers. Figures floating, limbs bent. In the middle of the driest place on Earth, they painted people swimming. For decades, scholars thought it was symbolic, a metaphor for the soul. They were wrong. It wasn't a metaphor, it was a memory of a time when the desert bloomed. But the Green Sahara was fragile. It existed only because of a wobble in Earth's orbit. This cycle, called precession, changes the angle of the sun's energy hitting the atmosphere. More heat meant stronger monsoons. But as the wobble shifted back, the rains began to fail. 5,000 years ago, the tipping point arrived. The change was not slow, it was catastrophic and rapid. Vegetation died, and without roots to hold the soil, the moisture evaporated into the air. This created a feedback loop. Less plants meant less rain. Less rain meant fewer plants. In the span of a few centuries, the lush paradise collapsed into the skeleton landscape we see today. The megalakes evaporated. Lake Mega Chad shrank by 95%, leaving the small remnant we have now. The rivers turned to wadis, dry riverbeds that only flow during rare flash floods. The animals had two choices: migrate or die. The elephants moved south. The hippos perished. But what about the humans? The Kithians? The swimmers? As the water vanished, they were forced to move. They followed the only reliable water source left. They moved east, to the Great River, to the Nile Valley. This mass migration was the spark that ignited ancient Egypt. Different tribes, bringing different skills, were forced into close quarters along the riverbanks. The cattle herders brought their social structure. The crocodile hunters brought their religion. Conflict over the limited water led to the need for organization. Kings rose to manage the chaos. It is no coincidence that the pharaonic civilization began exactly when the Sahara dried up. The gods of Egypt reflect this lost world. Sobek, the crocodile god. Taweret, the hippo goddess. These were not desert gods. They were memories of the green past, immortalized in stone. Even the concept of the afterlife, a lush field of reeds, was a nostalgia for the lost paradise. The Sahara became a barrier, protecting Egypt from invasion, allowing it to grow in isolation. But out in the deep desert, the silence returned. The lakes disappeared. The cities vanished. For thousands of years, the evidence lay hidden beneath the dunes, waiting for us. In the 2000s, radar satellites peered through the sand and saw the ghost rivers. We found the shorelines of megalakes that no longer exist. We found the Stone Age embrace and the Cave of Swimmers. Pieces of a puzzle that tell us the world we know is not permanent. The Green Sahara is not gone forever. It is just sleeping. The orbital wobble that dried the desert is a cycle. It lasts 23,000 years. In about 15,000 years, the northern hemisphere will tilt back toward the sun. The monsoons will return. The rains will fall. The sleeping seeds will wake. The sands will be covered in grass. The rivers will carve new paths. The Sahara will be green again. It is inevitable. But until then, the desert keeps its secrets. Beneath the heat, beneath the silence, lie the ghosts of hippos and the dreams of swimmers. They remind us that climate is not static. Maps are not permanent. Civilizations rise and fall with the water. We are no different. The Green Sahara is a warning and a wonder, a testament to the power of our planet to change. And a reminder that every desert was once a garden, and may be a garden once again.